Alright YouTube, this is 2 Cent back with my 2 cents on Octopath Traveler, and I was today years old when I realized I didn't put out my review for Glossum, and you know, I know quite a few of you guys follow my channel here, and you might follow other content creators, so if you've seen their video on it, that's fine. You don't probably need to watch this one. You can leave, bye, unless you want to support me, that's fine too. But I also wanted to add some extra value to this video because I know there's quite a few of us out there who haven't beat Tikilen yet, and the second half of this video is going to be about which one of these two that I think you should challenge first, and I'll give my kind of reasons why. Alright, let's get into the video. Alright, so first thing we're going to look at some stats here. First thing that's going to really jump off the page here is that 325 attack stat. For a dancer, this is something we're not used to. In you know, just a reference for you guys, Lynette has 75 less attack on her kit, and Primrose has 85 less attack on her kit. So that's definitely going to be something that, as we're looking at the skills and everything, should kind of tip you off that this is going to be a unit that's going to lean more to the physical side of being a dancer, which will come with its own sorts of issues, because our current fans that are in the game are more magic damage heavy than they are attack heavy. So we'll kind of get into how you can kind of fix that, but let's go ahead and jump right on into the skills. Alright, so typically when you guys see this page for me, I have all the things that I kind of want to talk about highlighted in yellow, and here we have a whole bunch of different colors. So let me kind of explain that. What I really like about Glossum, you know, besides the fact that he's free, all you have to do is beat him in the arena, is that I feel like he can fill some multiple roles, which could be pretty nice if you're missing out on some units that might, you know, need to fill these roles. So the first one here, let's look at just the highlighted in red. We know that his attack stack's really high for a dancer, but his magic is a little bit lower. However, he does have access to lightning AoE and a 3x lightning random attack. Should you need to have him fill a role of a lightning attacker on your team, you can do that. You can pick up those two, then you can pick up a third skill that, you know, is maybe one of his debuffs or something like that to kind of fill in the rest of that. Looking at the green ones here, we have been able to buff the full front row by 15% attack and defense up on that first one, and then another one that's full front row 20% attack and defense. This is really good. There's a 10 SP difference between the two, but if you stack both of them out there, you'll actually get the full 30% buff cap that you need for your team for both the attack and the defense. So that's really awesome. You can basically max that out with just this one unit here. Granted, it does take 2 turns, you know, up to cast it, but then you can just, you know, utilize that lower SP to keep it active on your team. What's also nice is we're going to have access to some defense down in the form of this one-hit fan AoE, which is really nice because it is AoE. And then I kind of struggled. He's got this 4x fan random target. What I don't like, one, for it being random, so it could miss the target you're trying to go for, and then it has a small chance to inflict the defense down. So I don't like to rely on that, which is why it's not highlighted in green. It is highlighted in that yellow because we're looking at the 2x fan single target and this 4x fan random target as basically just abilities for if you need a fan attacker. It's what's, you know, part of, you know, supposed to be his kit as far as his damage dealing capabilities are going to be based off of that physical, so it's going to be his fan damage. So that's his abilities that can work with that. So the last thing to note on here is just looking at his passive. He has that self regen, which is pretty cool. At critical HP, you know, I don't like things that are at, that trigger on critical HP because I never want to be there, and a lot of times we're using units that have regen already on them. And so they're going to be out of critical HP very quickly. So I just don't. I feel like this passive probably not going to be useful very much, if at all. So when we're kind of looking at things here, we're going to say, okay, well, if we're going to be utilizing him in these different roles, for the attacker role with the fan, he doesn't quite have enough, you know, attack to deal with that. And you mentioned earlier that the fans that are currently out on weapons don't have a lot of attack stat. In the future, we will be getting some fans that have some more attack on it. For this kind of reason, of being able to have some more versatile units. But also, if we take a look at his exclusive equipment, he'll be getting that extra 150 attack and 50 crit. So, you know, obviously this is just, you can get this from just farming the fight, and then you can purchase it, and it's only for him. So it's definitely tailored and designed with the idea that you're going to be, you know, potentially running him as a physical attacker on your team. So for kind of like the end of the review portion of this video, I think Glossum is actually really good. You got that multiple roles of being able to be a lightning attacker, being a physical attacker, which is some decent shield break in both of those. And then you also have the ability to be a buffer and a debuffer. And I think he pairs pretty well. Like if you have Lynette, you can, you know, utilize both of their abilities to get your attack bonus up, you know, to max very quickly. But then also she provides the magic up, and then he can provide defense up for your team to help them be a little meatier there. And then he can provide the defense down to the opponent, and she can provide the magic defense down to the opponent. So I do like them. I think they will, you know, kind of work well in tandem there if you need to. So let's kind of switch up gears here for the second part of this video, where I just want to kind of go over, if you are out there, you're a new player, or you just haven't been able to get into the arena or haven't beat the arenas yet, of who you might want to do first here, either Tikilen or Glossom. You have access to both. You don't need to beat Tikilen before you can fight Glossum. So I just want to go into that, but I want to give a big preference, preference? Preference isn't the right word. I want to give a good warning here. Warning is the word I'm looking for. That there is going to be some spoilers ahead. So if you haven't fought the Tikilen fight, the spoilers are going to be mostly related to that. But we're going to get a little bit on the Glossum side too. So if you want to avoid all spoilers, check out the video now. Okay, now with that out of the way, basically what I'm going to suggest here is that you should try for Glossum first out of the two here, because Glossum I think is going to give you a great advantage being able to beat Tikilen. So basically, you know, he has the fan damage here. We know he has access to some lightning. We know he can provide defense down to help the rest of your team and buff your own team's attack and defense. Now, Tikilen herself in this fight is going to be a magic attacker, but that defense isn't, you know, is still going to be useful for that. But primarily here we'll be looking at being able to buff your own team and being able to, you know, if you choose to use a lightning attacker to get rid of these adds in front, or to utilize the fan abilities to be able to attack her in the back if you already have lightning covered. Basically, it kind of is going to help you fill whatever you needed on your team to kind of go in here and be able to have a pretty good fight. So that on top of him already having regen, you can pair him on the maybe on the line with your regen giver outer. So if it's Theo or whatever it is, that might be able to help him stay alive, while also being able to not have to worry about getting, you know, his own heals. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here, is just being able to be the most useful for the other fight. Now, Tikilen herself is going to have wind damage and is going to be one of the best wind attackers currently out there. And Glossum himself in his fight, here's some slight spoilers for him, isn't weak to wind. However, the kind of two units that he has with him are weak to wind, and so she will be able to help out in that fight should you need that there. However, he's not weak to sword, which he's a sword user, so she's not going to be able to help affect the fight on his side of things, but will help on the adds, which is why I'm giving it over to Glossum being the one you should go on first, because he can do both, work with the adds and work against the main boss, plus be able to add debuffs and buffs. So definitely, if you're looking at this, I think you should go ahead and do the Glossum fight first. And you might be asking, well, do you have any tips on how to do that? And well, for that, I'm going to say I'm not going to make one particular video about the fight. So I'm going to direct you to Shizukats here. I'll put a link of his video down in the description. As you can see there, this is just a screenshot from my YouTube. I haven't watched the video yet, so Shizukats, don't let me down. You know, every one of his videos is a great video, so you probably don't need me to tell you that, but I typically will wait until I have made videos myself about a topic before I look at what the other creators in the community have said, and it's just kind of my way of being the most genuine to you guys, my audience who watches my videos, of giving my 2 cents. But I do like to watch the other creators after I've put out some videos on a topic, just to kind of see, you know, if we were kind of in agreement on it or not. And maybe, you know, sometimes I watch videos, and if they change my mind, I try to bring that up later on in another video. So basically, just go watch this. If you're looking for, you know, mechanics on how to do the Glossum fight, from what I have heard, looking at Reddit and different things like that, that a lot of people have experienced that Glossum was easier to do for them than Tikilen. But for those of us who haven't done either of the fights yet, we'll just kind of have to check it out, play around with it and see, but that's definitely what I would recommend. Get Glossum done first, then you can build him up, take him against Tikilen, and I think it'll just be easier time. And that's been my 2 cents.